Hi everyone, Sheathany Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Chelsea Wolfe album, She Reaches Out to She. This is the newest and 7th full-length official studio album from singer and songwriter Miss Chelsea Wolfe, whose stuff I have been covering for over a decade at this point, and it's been interesting to see her grow over the years in terms of visibility and artistry, really becoming one of the most respected musicians on the gothic music circuit currently. And in addition to that, showcasing just how versatile stylistically you can be while maintaining a position in that lane. There's been a lot of cool creative contrast across her most recent albums. For example, you have Abyss, which for a while was my favorite record of hers, as well as His Spun. These were two of her heaviest LPs at the time that she dropped them. Many moments on these records sounded massive and embraced these crushing doom metal guitars. Then, not too long after this, in 2019, Chelsea put out Birth of Violence, which saw her stripping back things quite a bit more aesthetically and instrumentally, with a bunch of songs in more of a chamber folk and gothic country style. Past this point, Chelsea has had some collaborations like Blood Moon 1 with metalcore legends Converge, also the X film score with Tyler Bates, which now brings us to She Reaches Out to She, where I actually think Chelsea has managed to drop one of her best records yet again, with a new direction as well, one that is still heavy, but is still less indebted to those doom metal guitars that defined Abyss and His Spun, embracing instead a lot more electronics, synths, effects, general sound play too. There are a lot of industrial vibes on this LP. Now, Chelsea's music usually relies on some level of atmosphere and ambiance, but that's even more so the case on this new LP now that she's not trying to crush me with these saturated guitar mixes or flex her songwriter muscle with some acoustic cuts. Like with the reverb-drenched whisper echoes on the aptly titled Whispers in the Echo Chamber, which is contrasted with these groaning, revving, glitching walls of distorted tones. All of which reads like Chelsea's very own mythical, eerie brand of Fresner-esque sound design. Overall, it's a stunning intro that really sets the tone for the album well, and if Chelsea somehow got a fat check off of it because it was used in a horror movie trailer or something, I wouldn't be surprised. The pace on the record picks up with the following House of Self-Undoing, which hits hard with these punchy, looping drum breaks, droning, distorted tones, and synth layers, which all sound very creepy and wobbly like the floorboards of a haunted house. There's a killer vocal performance attached to the song too. It's really Chelsea's witchy, beckoning siren song with some chilling harmonies on the back end too. Between its relaxed, entrancing beats and increasingly dense mix, the track Everything Turns Blue is more of a slowly developing experience than a formally segmented song, and I usually prefer the latter to the former, but in this instance, the sound design, the mixing, the performance, the vocals are just so good, I'm just at a loss for words. The otherworldly energy of the song is just overwhelming and, loss for words. The song Tunnel Lights has a similar appeal, but relies a bit more on these forlorn, dusty piano chords, as well as wintry atmospheres and effects surrounding the beat, which takes on more of a trip-hop vibe with an excellent build toward the end too. It's kind of like being blinded by the very lights the song's lyrics describe. Then The Liminal is one of the catchier songs on the record, honestly. It is a slow and brooding track, but still its refrains of All You Ever Wanted Was the Liminal stick hard. And is this track in reference to a breakup, a separation of some sort? It does seem to, again, make the case that all this person that she's referencing wanted was something surface level and maybe meaningless. Deeper into the lyrics, Chelsea says she feels left behind, but eventually comes back stronger, and finalizes things with, I'm in your dreams, I'm in your song, now everybody sings along. That sounds like tea. The song Salt is similar in that it's also somber but snappy too, and brings back the trip-hop vibes once again. I would say this track is especially Portishead coded too, but I think Chelsea brings her own specific and gorgeous, subtle, slightly frightening energy to this whole sound. Now, just when you think the record is done pulling out all the stops, bringing surprises, here comes Unseen World to sound even more stunning, with some mountainous harmonious layers and synths and drums that honestly feel orchestral in some passages. But it's not too sterile or grandiose or anything like that in execution, as Chelsea's vocals on the track are kind of harrowing, and in addition to that, you have these distorted, skittering bits of percussion repeating in the background, again, providing that electronic, that industrial touch. Kind of feels like a totally burnt out bit of cymbal looping over and over. The balladry on the record comes back on the track Place in the Sun, where you have some gorgeous piano passages and ascending synth leads. Between that and Chelsea's lyrics, the whole track kind of feels like I'm listening to a ghost sing about moving on into the great beyond. Then the closing track very much reads as a song of love and devotion, which is an interesting touch considering how many dark portrayals of love and connection there are on the album. Because while this track does sound just as heavy and dark as many other songs on here, the sentiment of its lyrics is kind of sweet and warm, as Chelsea sings about being willing to walk through the flames of hell pretty much for another person. And again, the very final moments of this track are loud as hell, they're crushing, but that bitterness is cut with the sweetness of these vocal harmonies, calling out, "Don't let me go, don't give me up," and it's all quite the emotional and sonic display. There are some rattling bits of metal percussion on the verses that I'm not too crazy about on this track, kind of take me out of the overall dark vibe of it. And I will say, going back earlier into the track list, the song Eyes Like Nightshade, I'm not crazy about for similar reasons, as I don't think it's one of the stronger songs on here melodically. Progression does meander a little bit, and on top of it, some of the weirder and more left field bits of sound or percussion. It's coming across a little junkyard, like we're just throwing anything that we can into the track to make it just feel a bit messy, whereas the instrumental palettes on pretty much every other song here feel so well groomed and specific and purposeful. Outside of those very minor criticisms though, I think this is an incredible record. One of Chelsea's best, if not her best. Stellar vocal performances, songs, production, progressions, everything. And surely it's going to stand out as one of the best Gothic albums of the year. Feeling a decent 2 strong 9 on this one. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you could check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano. Chelsea Wolfe, forever.